Welcome back to the All Ball Podcast, where it is all ball all the time. You are here with your host, Sean and Isaiah, as always. This is episode number 48, and today we're going to be talking about the crazy week of free agency and trades that has been going on. But to start off, Isaiah, how you feeling today, man?
Man, I'm really just floored. I'm flustered. Everything has hit me by surprise. There's been so much that has happened in this past few days, because I believe free agency started just on Thursday. So to have all of this go down in a matter of 3 days now, it's insane.
You know, just to look back a year ago, how much the whole NBA landscape has changed is just crazy, because I talked about this to you, not too long ago, about how this season's off season is just way different than last year's.
Oh yeah, it's a completely different setting.
And one of those big trades is the Rudy Gobert trade, and we're going to go ahead and talk about that. So let's go ahead and get into that one. Yeah. What were your initial reactions to that, and what do you think that's going to hold down the line for the Jazz and for the Timberwolves?
Well, my initial reaction was complete and utter shock, because it was the first thing that I had seen when I had first woken up from a nap the day that it happened. So to wake up and see that Rudy Gobert is now a Timberwolf, I thought I was still dreaming. But overall, my initial reaction was absolute surprise and a little disappointment, because now there's no more who's the best player on the Jazz debates.
Oh, we did lose that debate now.
Oh, man. But I think to speak on how the future for both teams looks, I'll say I think the Jazz, they probably need to do something to move Donovan Mitchell, because with all those picks that they got, it seems like they are going for a rebuild, since they got 4 or 5 picks, I believe, somewhere around there. So maybe that's what they have in mind. Maybe they might run it one season with Mitchell, see how he works out. Maybe they're still waiting to see what they can get for him. But either way, I don't really know if I could say that they won the trade, but they definitely got a really good return, and more than I think they should have gotten for Rudy.
I do believe it was 4 or 5 picks, because of also adding who was a Walker Kessler to the trade, who was just drafted in this draft. That's basically like adding another first round pick. It did it surprise me? The timing surprised me. I would have thought there would have been more rumors about Rudy being traded in the near future. I had a feeling this was coming eventually, but I thought it was going to be down the road, closer to the start of the season.
See, but that's the thing. That's another reason why this one surprised me, because I heard no rumors of the Timberwolves being interested. All the rumors that I was hearing were, I want to say, Raptors, and I can't remember the second team, but it was the Raptors and it was another team. I know that I used to hear some Mavericks rumors, but those died down once they got Christian Wood, obviously. So it was just those two teams, and I heard nothing about the Timberwolves. And then next thing I know, now he's on the Timberwolves.
And one of the other surprising points for me was that the Timberwolves were able to make a big splash like this, getting Rudy Gobert without giving up D'Angelo Russell.
Exactly. That's another thing that really surprised me, which is probably why they had to give up so many picks, because in order to make something like this work, first of all, you needed to make it work financially, considering that you have 3 guys who are already on max deals, I believe. And then Anthony Edwards is probably going to get a max extension. So you needed to factor that in. And then on top of that, clearly they wanted to keep D'Angelo Russell just for the playmaking abilities. And he was a really good He wasn't a good defender per se, but he was really good defensive leader this season.
Mm-hmm. So my question to you is now, because I think this could be very debatable, other than the fourth person, because I think D'Angelo Russell is clearly the fourth best player on the
Oh
Timberwolves
yeah,
now.
without a doubt.
But what are the top three in order?
Oh man, you're putting me on the hot seat. You're putting me on the hot seat, man. Okay. I want to say that Cat is the best for sure. I think that's an absolute because of his pure offensive selection, versatility, all of that. He is the best player. Now, this is a really tough decision, but I think I'm gonna give Rudy
No, you
second.
don't.
I think I'm
Oh.
gonna give Rudy second best, and it's because he clearly fills the hole of defense that this team. Listen, because hear me out here. Hear me out here. So not only is Rudy probably the best, not even probably, he is the best defensive center in the league. But on top of that, his mere presence is going to help Cat be better. Because if we think back to just some weeks ago, Cat's biggest problem was getting in foul trouble trying to be a rim protector. Now he doesn't have this issue anymore. So I think that just that ability to elevate what his teammates will be able to do on the court by taking load off of them is what puts him in second place.
So we lose the Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert debate, but we get a new one.
We get the Rudy Gobert Anthony Edwards debate.
Yeah, so I have to disagree with you. I do agree with you that Cat at the moment is the better player between Cat and Anthony Edwards, but I do think Anthony Edwards will go ahead and jump Cat this year. At the end of the season, I think Anthony Edwards will be the better player.
Okay.
But so I can somewhat understand why Rudy's up there, because I have to also think he played with a star guard who did not really utilize Rudy the way I think he should have been used.
Mm-hmm.
Because we heard about all the things about he wasn't passing the ball to Rudy. They were getting who was it? I think it was Trey Young and John Collins or Clint Capella had more lobs than just total passes from.
Yeah. They connected on more lobs than Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert had passes.
Mm-hmm. So that's just crazy alone to even think about that. Your star players aren't passing to each other.
Yeah.
But since that's no longer the case, and I don't know, would you call D'Lo a true point guard?
I would say that he's a true playmaker, but not a true point guard. Because while he is, and one of the main things that he was drafted for was playmaking,
Mm-hmm.
he still does really love to score, even when his shot's not falling. So I think
Mm-hmm.
with that in his nature, he's more of a combo guard. He does a lot of playmaking and a lot of scoring.
Okay. So at least I think that he will be more open to passing the ball to Rudy than Donovan ever was.
Oh, come on now. That's without a doubt. Even if he wasn't a true point guard or it wasn't a true playmaker, he's definitely more of a playmaker than Donovan Mitchell is. And that's for certain.
the Donovan Mitchell hatred runs deep for you.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. So we talked about the Timberwolves a little bit. Do you want to go ahead and talk about the Jazz like really quickly, so we can go ahead and move on to the other big trade, which is the Dejounte Murray trade?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much said all I had to say about them. More so just we need to see what they're going to do with this package they got. Are they going to use it try and maybe make something else happen and see if they can maybe run a season with Donovan Mitchell? Or are they just going to try and move him this offseason and just go directly for the rebuild?
Everyone should be wondering what's going on in Utah. Yeah, I have a feeling that they're going to try to retool around Donovan because I don't think they have the time to rebuild around him.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's going to be a successful retooling, and I think eventually they see that Donovan may not be there for their future.
Oh, yeah, no.
So,
That's why I was saying their options are retool around him or full rebuild. I don't think there's any way that they try and rebuild around him.
yeah, so I don't think the Jazz finish higher than if they stay with their current team. I don't think they finish any higher than maybe like 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, was that all you had to say about that trade?
Yep, we can move on to this interesting one.
Mm-hmm. So Dejounte Murray got moved for what, like 5 picks also?
Yeah, I'm sorry,
And
just keep going.
Gallinari. So yes, he was an all-star this year.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, he was.
He was the ones that got in because of a sick or
No, that was
injured.
Jared Allen and LaMelo. They got in on injury. Dejounte Murray was actually selected.
Okay. Well, so an all-star player, I get that he's an all-star player. I think that him and Trae Young can work together. I just think it's going to be hard because Trae Young is both players actually
Mm-hmm.
are so used to the ball being in their hands, especially Trae. I mean, Trae had one of the highest usage ratings ever.
And then on top of
So,
that, he also led the league in total assists. So if even without the usage rating, that means a lot in itself.
the good thing is they get defense from Dejounte Murray, a lot of defense. But Dejounte Murray isn't as tall, I guess, as I'd want him to be paired next to Trae Young. But it's a 50% yes, like a good thing, and a 50% bad thing that you're getting the ball out of Trae Young's hands sometimes because he'd get to rest, but also it's Trae Young, so you want the ball in his hands. I just don't like the amount of picks they're giving. So here's my thing. I know we weren't really going to talk about the Kevin Durant Kyrie thing that much, but if Dejounte Murray is getting 5 picks for himself, how many picks is it going to take to get Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving?
I think for them, it's going to be less about a huge number of picks, and they're just going to need a higher level of talent in return for them, and maybe a few picks.
See, the thing for me is it's going to be so hard to even match or try to get that to go through because of contracts.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I'm saying it's going to take picks. I think it's going to take a lot of picks. Like James Harden package type picks.
Yeah, no. And you see, the way that I'm saying this is it's not like, oh, they're going to need like 5 players or something like that. Like instead of sending what I think Patrick Beverly or Malik Beasley was the best player in that package. I think the best player in a Kevin Durant or a Kyrie package is going to need to be an all-star level player. So like, yeah, they'll definitely need some picks in there, but they probably won't need to do 5 because they won't be trying to compensate for the lack of talent in the trade.
Okay, I understand. Okay, so let's go ahead and get back to the Dejounte Murray trade.
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? What do you think this means for the Hawks? Do you think they're How much more are they contenders, and what do you think this means for the Spurs?
For the Spurs, I guess it means that they're just gonna fully commit to a tank now instead of trying to slightly rebuild, but not do very well in the draft and still kind of be a decently bad team so that they're not getting high lottery I don't know. The Spurs were in a really weird area before, and now I guess this is their attempt to fully commit to trying to rebuild the whole situation. Whereas with the Hawks, I think this does good at one, adding another playmaker. So now we might finally see some good off ball Trae Young. And then
Mm.
another thing, you don't like Dejounte Murray's size, but he is 6'5", which is not small. And he is at least a very, very good defensive guard.
I mean, yes, like he is a defensive guard. It's just when you look at Trae Young, like if Trae Young were six, but he's like what Trae Young's like 6'1".
Yeah, I think he might just be six flat.
um, both of us are taller than him, man. But he'll still break both of our ankles.
Oh yeah.
Um, it's like it's just the gap is not as much as I want it to be because Trae Young is so small, and there's gonna be guys like Luka, right,
Mm-hmm.
who are like, and maybe both of these guys don't even get that assignment, but still, Luka, who's like 6'7".
Yeah, 6'7" ish, almost 6'8", somewhere around there.
Right. So neither of those guys, Dejounte or Trae, especially Trae, I don't think should even be on Luka. And I don't know if I mean maybe they put I always forget his name, the forward, the really good defensive forward.
DeAndre Hunter.
Yes, DeAndre Hunter. Maybe they put him on him. But still, I think I would prefer a faster guard like a Dejounte Murray
Mm-hmm.
with more size.
Yeah, but I mean, at the same time, how many guys are there in the league like that? You're asking
That's
for a lot.
Yeah, that's true. I'm being pretty picky
Yeah,
here.
it's like you're asking for prime Klay Thompson.
I'm looking for Jonathan Isaac and Dejounte Murray in one player.
Exactly. Like, all right, let's slow down. You're looking for prime John Wall even, but taller.
Yeah. So yes, I am being picky. I understand that. I just think there's some question marks. It feels almost like maybe not the same question marks as whenever Chris Paul and James Harden were first paired together,
Mm.
but I think there's still gonna be some rough bumps at the beginning.
Oh yeah, for sure. You're asking, like you said, two guys who are very used to controlling the offense to split their time controlling the offense, especially
Mm-hmm.
when one of them is not the best of shooters. So you're really asking a lot out of him to play off ball.
So I want to point out one thing that the Hawks really did well in this trade, and it's an absolute win. They kept John Collins to trade for another trade.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I do like that. Or possibly just keeping him in general. I know they
I
want to
think
move
that
him. I know that they probably need to, but man, I like the Trae Young John Collins duo so much.
I do too, but I think that relationship, whatever's gone on between him and the organization, is just it's too much. I think the relationship is burned. It's over, and I think they're just gonna end up moving him.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
What they could get back though, I think they could get two. I think they could get a 2-for-1. You know, John Collins is a very young player still,
Yeah,
who I think has good potential. I don't know how much more potential he has to grow out of side of what he already is, but I think you get a 2-for-1 to where you're now getting maybe a starting power forward and a better guy to add to the bench.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of all I have for the Spurs. Oh, actually no. Does Popovich finally retire now that the Spurs are going full rebuild mode?
I hope so. That man doesn't need any more stress in his life. He's getting way too up there in age. It's time that you finally take that step back and let the team see new control, Pop.
Yeah, and I don't want to see him have to coach bums outside of like Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell and Primo. Um, I don't think I could see any more of Pop getting angry.
Exactly. So let's just hang it up, Pop. You had a great career, man. Just hang it up.
So let's go ahead and move on real quick. I know we wanted to talk about the John Wall signing.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I wish we could have had John Wall on this contract that he has now.
So, right. Oh, don't even get me started, bro. Don't even get me started.
It was what two for like 18 million, 2 years for 18 million or something like that.
Yeah, I think is it 18? I thought it was 13, but I might just be getting my numbers mixed up.
I don't know. I don't know exactly. I can look this up real quick, but while I'm doing that, go ahead and give your predictions for John Wall and the Clippers. Like what do you think his stats are going to be this season, and what do you think his workload is going to be?
Okay, stats. I'm not even gonna try and predict that. There are way too many things to take into account with that. But what I will say is I think a lot of people are way more excited about that signing than they should be. And I don't think his load is going to be too heavy, assuming Kawhi comes back this year.
Mm-hmm. So it is actually a two-year, $13 million contract.
Okay, so it was 13.
So I mean that's $6.5 million a year from almost what 45 million a year.
Yep. Yeah.
47. I'm sorry. It might as well add the 2 million.
Yeah. You know that it makes a difference.
Yeah, it's it's crazy to think that a guy who's now only getting paid $7 million was once getting paid 40 million more on top of what he's making now.
That's absolutely unbelievable considering total number of games played within that contract as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, at least he has more games played than the combined of Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie together. But still, is John Wall's contract one of the top 5 worst in NBA history?
I can tell you now, 100% without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are definitely some worse ones, like Bertans, Chandler Parsons, Timofey Mozgov, and Luol Deng.
Oh, Timofey Mozgov.
But that John Wall one, it made sense at the moment of signing, but pretty much everywhere after that, it just fell apart.
Mm-hmm. And I would say that Russell Westbrook's is basically as bad. But here's the thing: Westbrook, even though as bad as he's been,
is actually
has been
on
playing.
Court. Yep,
exactly. So I at least have to give him that. He's bad, but at least he's out there.
Exactly. At least he's there to be bad.
Mm-hmm. So how much does this really help the Clippers to be a contender?
Do you really want me to put a number on it?
Yeah, a good estimate of a seeding.
I think, let's say, because were they 8th seed or 9th seed? I think they were 9th seed. Yeah, because they lost. They weren't in the play-in. Well, in the playoffs. So if they were 9 this year, I think this moves them up to 7. That's the best I can do for them with this.
Wow.
Again, Depends on what Kawhi is doing, because we literally have heard nothing about him. So I don't even know if he's planning on playing basketball ever again. So I will have to see what happens there. Maybe with a Kawhi return, we could look at a 4 seed probably. Yeah, but I don't think John Wall moves the needle all that much for them.
I think he can be significant to the team as long as he understands that he is the third best player on that team now.
Oh yeah.
If he understands that he should not be taking more than around 10 shots per game, then I think he'll be okay. But his efficiency, I don't know. You know, he's only played like 40 games over the last 3 years or something like that.
Yeah, it's something small like that. I think he just needs to lock in on playmaking for the team. That needs to be his only job.
So, I think that's it, right? I think we can go ahead and wrap up on that.
Yeah, we can go ahead.
Okay. Okay, I just want to get one real quick reaction from you. What your reaction was from this? Zion getting that extension after being paid.
If you didn't say anything, I was going to say it when you asked me if I had any last thoughts. It is absolutely unbelievable that this man Zion got a max extension. that should not have ever happened. Now, I really feel for the Pelicans because they were in a tough spot. This guy has proven that he's a generational talent, but at the same time, he's proven that he's a generational talent that can't showcase his talent for more than 40 to 50 games in a season, probably. But at the same time, they were in a tough spot because if they didn't give him that money, someone else would. So they had to do what they had to do.
It's that Pelicans curse, you know, that he's gonna be like AD's street clothes wearing self.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
But yeah, for a man who's played 85 games over 3 years, that's a crazy amount of money.
Yeah, you see, I'm glad that you gave me the full number there because I wasn't even sure if he had played more than 82. So I was thinking when I saw this, there's no way that a man who hasn't even played a full season worth of games has gotten this extension. But I'm sorry, 85.
Yeah, a full season and a week of the next.
Yeah, something. Yeah. I'm sorry. He has a full season and some more.
Yeah, but that's definitely it's just wild to think that he could get that with that very little amount of time played in his 3 years in the league. But let's go ahead and wrap things up. That's going to be the end of the podcast and the end of the episode. If you like the episode, go ahead and like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Isaiah, I think I stole your last comments, but if you have any more.
Yeah, no, man, that's it.
All right. Well, then we'll go ahead and see you on the next episode.